Most women are taught to be pleasing, to be warm, to be understood, to be chosen. From an early age, the world whispers a quiet instruction: be lovable and you will be safe. But history tells a different story. The women who were never forgotten were not the most agreeable. They were not the loudest. They were not the ones who gave the most. They were the women who belonged to themselves. In this video, we are not talking about attraction in the shallow sense. We are talking about psychological gravity, the kind that pulls without asking, the kind that does not chase, explain, or perform. This is a philosophical exploration of feminine presence, of existence, of consciousness as power, not how to get attention, but how to become unignorable. Watch closely, because once you understand this, you will stop trying to be desired and start being felt. Part 1. Why softness without self-possession fails. There is a lie sold to women dressed as virtue, that kindness alone is power, that emotional availability guarantees depth, that love, if given freely and endlessly, will be valued. But philosophy teaches us something uncomfortable. Anything with no cost loses weight. When a woman is always available, always explaining, always accommodating, she becomes emotionally predictable. And the mind does not obsess over what it can fully predict. This is not cruelty. This is psychology. Softness without boundaries becomes background noise. Care without discernment becomes invisible. Love without self-possession becomes negotiable. The feminine is not weak by nature. It is powerful by selectivity. And yet many women are trained to abandon selectivity in exchange for approval. This is the first fracture of feminine power. One of the oldest principles in philosophy is this: what withdraws gains meaning, not out of punishment, not out of manipulation, but because absence activates awareness. When a woman removes herself calmly, without explanation, without emotional leakage, without protest, she forces the other mind to confront something rare: loss without chaos. This is not the silent treatment. This is self-respect in motion. She does not threaten. She does not warn. She simply reallocates her presence. And presence, when it is grounded, is the most expensive currency there is. Part 3. The woman who does not need to be understood. Most people explain themselves to feel safe, but philosophy reminds us, needing to be understood is still a form of dependence. The woman who is centered in herself does not rush to clarify. She allows misunderstanding to exist. She allows others to sit with uncertainty. Why? Because consciousness does not beg for interpretation. It observes. When you stop correcting how others perceive you, you stop giving them authority over your inner world, and something subtle happens. They begin watching you more closely. Part 4. Image, essence, and the feminine mind. There is a difference between essence and exposure. Essence is who you are. Exposure is how much access you give. A woman who reveals everything too quickly eliminates mystery. And mystery is not deception. It is depth preserved. You are not meant to be fully accessible. You are meant to be layered. The mind does not chase what it has already consumed. So the conscious woman reveals slowly, deliberately, not to control, but to protect the sacredness of her interior world. Part 5. The power of stillness. Stillness is misunderstood. It is often mistaken for passivity. But stillness is not inactivity. It is containment. When a woman remains calm during emotional testing, when she does not rush to fix tension, when she does not scramble to restore comfort, she communicates something without words. I am not afraid of silence, and the mind of the other begins to recalibrate, because silence creates a mirror, and most people are deeply uncomfortable with mirrors. Part 6. Emotional economy. Every relationship operates on an emotional economy. Attention is currency, energy is investment, presence is value. The woman who gives indiscriminately devalues her own currency. But the woman who gives intentionally teaches others how to treat her. She does not reward inconsistency. She does not over-nurture disrespect. She does not argue for her worth. She adjusts access. And access, once restricted, becomes desirable. Part 7. The Feminine Mind. As observer. Powerful women do not rush to speak. They watch. They notice tone shifts, behavioral patterns, energy changes. They do not react immediately. They store data. And when they speak, it is precise. A single calm sentence, delivered without emotional charge, can collapse illusions. Because truth, when named quietly, is destabilizing. Not because it is loud, but because it is undeniable. Part 8. Becoming the Turning Point. People do not remember everyone they meet. They remember moments of inner disruption. The woman who forces someone to confront themselves, not through accusation, but through presence, becomes a psychological landmark. She is remembered not for what she gave, but for what shifted after her. She becomes the chapter that divides before and after. Part 9. Absence as meaning, not punishment. When a woman leaves without spectacle, without burning bridges, without emotional debris, she leaves behind an unanswered question. And the mind hates unanswered questions. Absence, when used consciously, does not create fear. It creates reflection, and reflection leads to respect. Part 10. Self-possession as the highest form of attraction. Here is the truth most people avoid. The most magnetic women are not trying to be magnetic. They are occupied with their own becoming. They are not waiting to be chosen. They are not auditioning for attachment. They are not negotiating their boundaries. They move through the world with an internal axis, and that axis creates gravity. Final words. The Feminine Mind Lab Principle. This is not about dominance. It is not about control. It is not about withholding love. It is about self-possession. A woman who belongs to herself cannot be owned, cannot be rushed, cannot be reduced. She does not chase meaning, she embodies it. And when she leaves a space, something remains unsettled. Not because she took something away, but because she reminded others what presence actually feels like. Closing. Call to reflection, not action. If something in this stirred you, sit with it. Do not rush to explain it away. Do not label it immediately. Let it work. Because philosophy is not meant to entertain you. It is meant to rearrange you.